In a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. Yeah, you're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people.
The stunning back and forth, the collapse in the Oval Office of a meeting between President Donald Trump and the Ukrainian President Zelensky. Trump and his vice president lecturing the leader who left the White House without a deal that could have moved Ukraine closer to ending the war with Russia. Both Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance calling the Ukrainian president disrespectful and ungrateful. Reaction across the world has been blistering. It's our top story at 5. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Shay McAllister. The meeting centered around a deal that Zelensky hoped would have solidified such support.
You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media.
The potential deal would have allowed the U.S. to share Ukraine's rare earth mineral resources. The White House says this sees it as payback for the aid that we have given.
Zelensky pressing for continued security after the war ends. President Trump said he'd consider that only after a ceasefire, sparking reservations from the Ukrainian president.
During 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. We signed ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. But after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about?
A public meeting to officially sign the deal was canceled today, with the White House saying Zelensky was asked to leave. There is no telling if that deal will actually be signed.
The world is talking about Zelensky's treatment of the White House. ABC News and David Muir will have more on this breaking story at 6:30 after WHAS 11 News at 6. And some of you, by the way, believe it was a tactic by the president to bring an end to the war. Your comments are playing out on the rant line. Now, the other top story, former Clark County, Indiana councilor Brittany Faree, who also has a child with the imprisoned sheriff Jamie Knoll, pleaded guilty today to 1 count of conflict of interest.
Faree approved funding to New Chapel EMS, while Knoll, the CEO, was paying her child support from the department. Faree did say that she knew the money was coming from New Chapel EMS, but she admitted she derived a benefit from the contract she funded. Faree got 2 years probation, but she may go to prison if she violates the terms of that probation. In court, she asked the judge to accept her plea deal so she could take care of her and Jamie's 5-year-old son.
Tell me why you think I should accept that, please.
Because I'm a single mom taking care of our son that we have. And I'm obviously the only person that's taking care of our son.
3 out of 5 people charged in the investigation have now resolved their case. Former county councilor John Miller and his estranged wife Misty Knoll still remain.
You feel wanted? No. You feel protected? No. Let your president know that.
Tonight's protests happening at college campuses across Kentucky, from U of L to UK, pushing back on state Republican-led efforts to disband diversity, equity, and inclusions programs known as DEI. It has become a lightning rod issue all over the country.
It also comes as Republican leaders in Frankfort tell our Isaiah Kim Martinez they expect the bill to ban DEI at Kentucky's public universities to pass. Isaiah is joining us now. And Isaiah, let's go back to the protest at U of L today. Did they have a good turnout? Because it's just one of about 7 others underway across the state today.
Across the state, we're talking about UK, WKU, U of L. At least here in Louisville, Doug, we saw hundreds of U of L students and even some faculty, like the one you just saw there, protesting Kentucky bills by name. Messages written in chalk like this one: DEI will not die. Sophomore Ann Mongo from Georgetown, Kentucky, tells me she's already seen changes on campus amid pressure from GOP lawmakers.
And then the Cultural and Equity Center, they have to change the name to the Cultural and Success Center because you can't have equity in there. So it's just like micro changes and stuff like that.
When I go to the hospital or an airplane, I don't care my doctor, my pilot's skin color. I don't care at all. I only want the best service I can get. I only want to get best treatment I can get.
Now, you also had counter-protesters like U of L employee Zhang Yang there wearing a shirt reading "DEI didn't earn it." Again, we're seeing rallies across the state, including schools like Western Kentucky and Kentucky State over in Frankfort. That's an HBCU. But do these rallies really change the minds of Kentucky Republicans in power? I asked the Senate GOP leader. We'll have his answer coming up right here at 6. Doug Shea.
All right, thank you, Isaiah. Let's talk about today's weather. We felt the warm up, but the weekend is going to bring immediate changes. We're talking really fast and back to talking things like wind chill factors.
And that wind today, speaking of, been pretty serious.
Yeah, very gusty. We have a wind advisory for the rest of today, but it's been a warm breeze coming in from the southwest, and you see it's still blowing out there. All clear sky, and it's been warming us up nicely. 67 degrees, 15 above normal. That wind gust at 30 now. About an hour or two ago, it was up to around 37 miles per hour. Humidity pretty low at 23%, and you can see 60s across the board here. So it will stay pretty mild for this evening. If you have some Friday night plans, it'll be in the 50s after sunset. It's not until the late overnight hours and early tomorrow morning when that dry front moves through, which is up to our northwest right now. That's going to drop us down to the upper 30s and 40s for tomorrow. Wind chills are going to be at or below freezing all day tomorrow. So the winds will stay a little bit breezy here from the southwest this evening. This is around 9 p.m. in the 50s. And then watch the wind direction change, come from the north tomorrow morning. Might sneak in a couple flurries off to the north as well. So 30s tomorrow morning and then upper 30s and low 40s, and still a bit breezy for tomorrow afternoon. So a winter-like feel for our first weekend of March. Upper 30s overnight. We'll see 40 degrees at noon, and our temperatures up around 43 for tomorrow afternoon. Now next week we'll warm it right back up. We've got some 60s later in that 7-day forecast, but it also comes with a chance of some heavy rain and some thunderstorms, and we'll time out that system coming up at our weather impact team forecast.
Don't say we're listening to the people's voices when you're not. You're not acknowledging our voices at all.
About 175 protesters marched from Louisville's Democratic headquarters to Mitch McConnell's downtown office today. Attendees told WHAS11 they're concerned with Trump's federal cuts to services like Medicaid and Veterans Affairs programs.
WHAS11's Alexandra Goldberg and photojournalist Gabby DeGeorge report on all sides.
Elon Musk has got to go. A stretch of signs are lining West Broadway in downtown Louisville.
These are our peeps. We're ready to fight. We're ready to fight.
Marching to Mitch was organized by the Louisville Democratic Party.
If he had done his job in the beginning and protected us, we would not all be here now. Trump would not have been president. He wouldn't have been allowed to run. So I look at Mitch.
Protesters walked 2 blocks from the Louisville Democratic headquarters to the Gene Snyder Courthouse, where Senator Mitch McConnell's downtown Louisville office is located. The Democratic Party's Logan Gaddy tells us why.
He doesn't have to really go down in history as someone that just let the country go down this path unchecked. He can stand up to Donald Trump. He can stand up to Elon Musk and Doge.
Attendees say they're protesting federal cuts in Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge.
Save Medicaid! Save Medicaid!
Protesters are walking into the courthouse 2 at a time to bring their concerns to staffers.
I'm going to talk about the dangers of executive overreach.
A Mitch McConnell spokesperson said in a statement, quote, "It is no surprise that the Louisville Democratic Party is not a fan of this new administration, but everybody is free to have their say about whatever the issues of the day are." Don Fitzpatrick, chairman of the Jefferson County Republican Party, says though cuts can be painful, Republicans are concerned about the budget deficit.
We have to do something. We're approaching $37 trillion. I mean, to me, it's unimaginable that we've gotten to that point. And we're spending money as if, at the federal level, as if we were still in the COVID crisis.
Attendees say the cuts are affecting critical federal services.
And in fact, we've got the richest man on the planet, Elon Musk, who's called for taking food off the table for millions of hungry children all around the world.
So now they say they want their local leaders to listen. In Louisville, Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS11 on your side.
Most recently, as you know, Mitch McConnell has pushed back on the Trump administration, voting against some of his key cabinet picks. In a few instances, being the only Republican in the Senate to do that. He's also been a longtime and staunch supporter of supporting Ukraine in the war against Russia, and that includes sending billions of dollars of U.S. aid to Ukraine for its defense.
More now on the growing spread of measles across the country. At least 9 states are now reporting cases of the disease. That includes us here in Kentucky. One of the latest cases was reported in Washington state, where officials say an infant may have been exposed during recent international travel. The disease is preventable by vaccines, and it was declared eliminated in the U.S. more than 20 years ago. Health officials report the majority of these new cases are being found in unvaccinated children.
It is really important to think about the complications. We know that 1 in 20 kids can get pneumonia from the measles, 1 in 1,000 get encephalitis, which is swelling of the brain, and up to 3 out of 1,000 kids can die.
The outbreak is especially concerning in rural West Texas, where at least 146 cases have been reported. That's where an unvaccinated child died at the hospital this week, marking the first measles death in the United States since 2015.
We've got a lot more in depth to bring you about this. Joining us live in 30 minutes, adjunct U of L professor Ruth Carrico will be here in our studio to talk about the measles outbreak at 5:30. Carrico is Louisville's top infectious disease specialist. Her career with extensive knowledge on these viruses that can impact us all and your children. And again, Ruth Carrico here at 5:30.